friends, family, and people who just found me on the interwebs. Welcome! I know it has been a whole month since I did my last vlog, but since I was living my life here in France and going to school and doing all that, I just thought I would just do kind of a more broad vlog on the last month. So you'll notice I'm in a different room. Now last time I did in a different room in my host family's house. But this time I'm in a new house. Wiki wiki wise. So I've talked about this a lot, but for Rotary Exchange we have 3 families, and yesterday I changed families. So I'm in a new place, a new lifestyle. My last family, I was living in the center of Laval, and now I'm living out in the country about half an hour away from Laval. I will give you a little tour of my room, but right now it is just very messy because I just got here last night at like 7 p.m. So I have not unpacked any of my stuff. I haven't really settled into the room yet. But next time we will do that. Now I have a lot to fill you in on, and I really don't want this vlog to be a half an hour because nobody wants to hear me talk for a half an hour again. Boy, what am I doing with my life? So, mingle and mix into vlog number 6.
And when you get the chance, you are a dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17. Dancing queen.
It was a month ago, and I was about to go to the gym. That night I did go to the gym. I did Zumba. Now, I'm not going to talk about all the details of what happened the last month because that would be a lot. So generally, the rest of that week after I made my vlog was a really good week. I hung out with friends after school. I did a lot of fun stuff. That weekend, I had a sleepover at Maka's, and we took a photo shoot, and we just hung out at her house, and we stayed up super late and talked and just got to know each other better, which is really fun because, you know, we've only known each other for 3 months now, because I forgot to say it in the beginning, but now we've been here 3 months, so we've only known each other for 3 months, so it's really good to get to know each other more. So I just had a chill week with friends at school and enjoying that, and my French was getting better, and I just had one of the best weeks in my exchange. I just really felt like I was really fitting into the culture and to friends and to school. I had a good weekend, and then the next week came along, and it was a bit of a rough week. I felt like the friends that I had the last week kind of evaporated. Like, I wasn't really hanging out with them as much, and I was trying to, it's a lot of, my hair is crazy, I'm sorry, but a lot of people say that my high school, Bozeman High School, Montana, is a super cliquey high school. They have not met French high schoolers. I love living here in France, and high school is not that bad, but one thing that really, really upsets me is how cliquey the French high schoolers are. Like, they're like, this is my group, this is your group, we do not mix. And if you leave your group and try to get to know other people, they're like, all right, you're out because you're not hanging with us, but no one wants to add you in because they're like a tight group, and so it's like really hard. So I kind of felt like I wasn't really that close with the group of friends that I had, and so I was like, well, I mean, there's 30 other people in my class, like, I should try to meet them. And so I kind of like went out of my way to start to talk to them more, but they weren't really welcoming. And then I went back to talk to my friends, but they're like, honey, you left us, there ain't no coming back. And so that was a bit difficult, and I just had kind of a difficult week in school. Out of school, I had a really good week, actually. We had 2 big Rotary meetings that week. So we had one on Wednesday night, and that was Francisco's. He's the kid from Argentina in Laval. That was his club's meeting, and we bagged apples. So we bagged a bunch of apples for charity. Then we had this dinner, and what was really cool about that night is I got to meet this girl, and her name is Olivan, and she went to Thailand last year on exchange, and she was really interesting, and I really want to get to know her better. Then the next night, it was a thing put on by my club, but it was with like a bunch of different clubs. It was like this big fundraiser where they were selling this like really like high quality wine, and my Rotary Club's president has a jazz band, and so the jazz band played, and we danced, and we were up really, really late, and it was just like a fun time. And then that weekend was a little bit rough because I really wanted to go. Maka went to Chateau Gontier with Colby and Gala. I've talked to them before, and I really wanted to go with them, but my host family was like, you have to come hunting with us because we don't really know this plan, and I understood, like, it wasn't a very good plan, and they didn't want me to be alone in Laval the next day, and so I went hunting with them, and it wasn't that horrible. It was just like in nature, and I didn't actually see any of the animals getting killed, so that was good. And then the next day, I also went hunting again, just in the morning, but I just walked around the forest with my host mom and her friend, and that was fine. And then in the afternoon, I painted in their country house, so that was good. Next week was also not the best. Like, it was still kind of rough, just having trouble fitting in with school and fitting into the lifestyle of school, which was weird because the week before, or 2 weeks before, I was totally fine. And so it just kind of goes to show that, like, how quickly things can change. But, I was just being me, and yeah, just dancing my way through. My story for that week was Wednesday was actually a very exciting day. So I left in the morning, and what happened was I accidentally forgot my keys in my room, and the house was locked, and my host sister had a thing all day, and my host mom was in Paris with my host dad and my host brother, so there was nobody. And then my other host brother was in Rennes, and my other host sister was in Australia because I've never met her because she lives there. But anyway, I was the only one there that day, and I did not have my keys, and I had no way into the house. So I had to figure out a way to entertain myself for a whole day. So I just like walked around Laval. I bought a baguette and cheese and went to this big lookout, and I ate it, and I just like listened to music and had a good time. And then I had my French lesson, which was fun. And then me and Maka went and got ice cream, and then we got haircuts. You'll notice my new haircut, it's a bit shorter. It's really crazy right now because I don't even know what is going on with my hair right now. But anyway, so it was just kind of an exciting day of figuring out France. And so what I've just like those 2 weeks, what happened with me was it was really good in school, and then sorry, it was really, really good out of school. Like, I was really getting along with my last host family really, really well, and I was doing a lot of fun stuff after school with Maka and even just by myself, and but I was just having trouble in school. So then after that week where I got locked out of my house, I had some time that weekend. So that Thursday was Thanksgiving, and then that Friday I made a big Thanksgiving dinner for my host family, which was really fun because I got to, they were showing me their culture, and I got to show them a bit of American culture, and they were all really impressed. And so when I told them, like, that Monday, I was like, yeah, if you want, I can make Thanksgiving dinner. And then it rolls around to Thursday, and I was not ready, so I was like, we can just do it Friday. And I realized on that Thursday that I had never actually made anything Thanksgiving other than pie. Like, my mom usually makes the stuffing, and we usually go to someone else's house who makes the turkey. So I was like, I actually had no idea what I was doing, so I was in way over my head. But I made stuffing, I made mashed potatoes, I made salad, and I cooked a whole freaking turkey. I was so proud of myself. I was like, who cooked the turkey? I cooked a turkey. Who cooked a turkey? I cooked a turkey. And then my host dad was like, this is a really good turkey. He's like, the only one that was better would be if I cooked it. And I was like, haha, it's amazing. But I was really impressed with myself, and my family was really impressed. And then the next day, I hung out with Maka, and we met, and we got lunch at this Italian restaurant. And then we went shopping. And Maka, my dear, dear friend, spent all of her money. So, may God rest in her soul, as she doesn't have any money now. But we got a lot of new things. I got some new boots, a new hat, some new gloves. She got a new coat, a new shirt, a new sweater, new makeup, new bag. She bought a lot of things, but it was fun. It was all good, and it was a really good day. And then that night was like a really great night because we had this big festival in Laval. So I've told you last time about how the Christmas lights are going up in Laval, and that Saturday we had this big festival to turn on the lights. And so we went at about 6:30 after watching a Christmas movie, I might add. We went at like 6:30, and they had like a half an hour fireworks show, and it was like really cool, and it had all these like movie soundtracks, and it was so intense, and there's all these people, and we were on this like big bridge, and then after all the lights lit up, and it was just like so pretty, and then we just walked around, and we drank hot chocolate, and we got a street burger, and they had this little like snow forest set up, and it was just like a really cool and really fun, and there was these people who were playing music on the street, and we just like danced with them, and it was just really good just to be with Maka and me, and we ran into some of my friends from school and some of her friends from school, so it was a really good night. And then that Sunday I just went to my family's country house again and just hung out. And then so now this past week it's been a good week. It started out a little rough because Tuesday I really didn't feel good, but I texted my host mom to see if I could stay home, and she never answered, and I made the wrong decision, and I just stayed home anyway, even though I didn't get a direct answer from her, and she was upset about that, which, I mean, it makes sense. And the thing is, I probably could have gone to school if I felt the way I felt on Tuesday, and I was in the US, I definitely would have gone to school. But the thing is, here, it's like, if I miss school, it doesn't matter. And so if I'm like at all feeling not great, I want to stay home. But also the thing is, the French, like even if you had cancer, they like would not let you miss school. They're so very about it. And so that was a little rough. But I got to school in the afternoon, and then everything was fine. That Wednesday, I made lunch for my host sister and me, and we watched TV, and then me and Maka hung out in the afternoon. We just went back to my house and we watched a movie, and that was fun. And then Thursday was a nice day because I started reading L'étranger in French because I was like, you know what, I've always wanted to read a book in French, and let's just dive in. And I'm 5 pages in. It's very difficult, but during lunch I just went to a cafe and I got some chai tea, and I just read my French book, and it was really just like really nice. And reading my étranger with the coffee. After school that day, I had a Rotary meeting, and actually, so this is where this video could get long because I can kind of rant about this right now, but I actually had one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and it kind of reminded me why I was on exchange. So at this Rotary meeting, it was like a dinner thing. It was because it was the 70th anniversary of our club, and they split us off into tables, and so you just picked a random card, and it said the year, and you went and sat on that table, and I ended up sitting next to this lady, and she was super kind, and we just like we started talking a lot, and she just asked me about my life in Montana, my life in the United States, and I asked her about her life and her kids, and we just like actually had a good conversation in French, which was really cool because that doesn't always happen all the time. And then what happened was she asked me what I thought of the US President Trump. This is kind of like a touchy question because you don't know what everyone always believes, and you don't want to say anything that would offend somebody, and I didn't really know how to say what I was thinking in French. And I felt like I kind of had two options there. I could just say, oh, I don't really like him, and we could move on with the conversation, or I could explain myself. And so that's what I did. I told them, oh, and so when she asked me this question, the entire table I was sitting with just like looked at me like they wanted to know the answer. And I was freaking out because I was like, how do I say this in French? How do I like talk in French and say what I was thinking? But I stumbled through it, and what I told them was I just think he's kind of immature, and that he's creating conflict with other countries that's really unnecessary, and that he really puts US citizens over the world. And personally, one of the reasons I went on exchange is because I see myself as a world citizen above a United States citizen. And I think if we all looked at it that way, then we could kind of be more of a peaceful world, because we're all in this together. And they asked me about my high school and what kids thought, and I told them, a lot of kids think what their parents think, and so it can be kind of difficult, but like not everyone thinks the way Trump thinks and likes him. And they asked me like if I debate with other kids and stuff like that about my beliefs, and I was like, yes, I do, but sometimes it's hard because I think that we all are really firm on our beliefs, and so we can. And people say, I hate others who don't have the same ideas as me, but that's not good, because we need to share ideas and create a discussion rather than I hate you, you hate me, we have different ideas. It's just different ideas make the world run, and so that's okay. And I just explained all my thoughts in French, and they were really changed by it. They were really affected. I think they looked at the U.S. differently after I told them that, and I think that they realized that not everyone in the U.S. is for Trump, and not everyone in the U.S. is like, these are my ideas, blah, blah, blah. And it just really impacted me, because I feel like one of the reasons I went on exchange is because I want to show that the United States isn't the bad things that we see, and isn't like that, and that we all have different ideas and different ways of looking at the world, and that's okay. And one of the reasons I went on exchange was to show that, and I really think I impacted these people's view of the United States, which is really powerful. And it was just showed me that even if it's just me speaking shitty French to this one table of French adults, we can all do our part to help the world become more peaceful. So that was really incredible for me. And then Friday, I had a really good day. I went out to lunch with, it was one of my friends. I felt like I was getting along better with my friends again this week, and on Friday it was one of my friend's birthdays, and we went and got kebab, which is a bit different because kebabs in the US are like a stick with a bunch of food on them, and usually grilled, but a kebab in France is like a fast food type thing, and it's like a sandwich with like some type of meat and tomatoes, and it's not very healthy, but it's really, really damn delicious. And then Friday evening, I went with some of my friends, and we went to Centreville, and we went shopping a little bit, and we got hot chocolate, and then we got some cotton candy, and just walked around the lights for like an hour, and that was really fun. It was kind of spontaneous, and it was really fun to be with them. Then Friday night was my last night with my host family, but my host mom and my host dad were in Africa because they had left, and so it was just me, my host sister, and my host brother, and we made galette, which is like, it's kind of like a crepe, and you put all this stuff in it, and then you like grill it, and it's just like so good. And I asked if we could have that because I had it like once with my host sister before, and it was like my favorite meal that I've had in France, and it's just so good. And then we watched a movie together, and it was just like a good last night to be with them, and just a good way to wrap things up with that family. Even though, and it was kind of perfect because, my family travels a lot. They were gone every single weekend that I was with them. Sometimes they took me with them, and sometimes they didn't. But it was just kind of like, I got really close with my host siblings in that family. Like, they're my ride or die. So it was just like a good way to wrap things up just with them. Then Saturday I had a really busy day because I had to get all my stuff packed, and I also went to an old folks home, and I went to an old folks home and hung out with the teenage Rotary kids. I did that, and that was an interesting experience to be with the French elderly. I had to give them hand massages, and that was very interesting because that would not be my first choice. You could either play 2 different games with them or hand massages, and because I was the foreign kid, there was 3 foreigners there, and they're like, you 3, you'll give hand massages. And then one girl was like, actually, we need one of you to play the game, and Marco was like, me, because none of us wanted to give hand massages. And so me and Francisco gave some hand massages, and he quit out early because he didn't like it, neither did I, but I stuck it out and I gave some hand massages to some old people and I made some nice connections. So, good experiences all around, interesting experiences. And then last night I just hung out with my host family and they have been so kind to me. Like, you know, it's really interesting because Rotary, you switch families, so you get a different feel of life. And this is definitely way different than my last family. And it's just beautiful because they're just so kind to me. My host brother left his room so I could have the bigger room, and like they're just like, our house is your house, and I have two younger host sisters now, and I just like watched a movie with my host brother last night, and then this morning I played a game with them, and they have bunnies, and I played with the bunnies, and they've just been so kind to me, and I've really appreciated it because it is a cool thing to move, but like I was so comfortable with my last family, which not everyone gets. They don't feel comfortable like that, like I did. But I was super comfy. I was singing, I was dancing, I was being my weird ass self. Um, and so that was really cool. So, it can be kind of hard to transition into a new family, but they've just been really, really, really kind to me about it. So it's been really fun, and I'm really excited for my next 3.5 months with them and to get to know them better and to get another family. So that's what happened the past few weeks. I ramble on. I always do. I was like, this video is only going to be like 10 minutes long, and now here we are 20 minutes later. No regrets. If you don't want to watch me talk for 20 minutes, then don't watch. It's up to you. Anyway, now I want to talk about French school and do my little segment of interesting antidote. Friend, the little things. Can't even speak English anymore. Anyway, so some things that I really like about French school because I was a bit negative about it in my vlog. One thing, the best thing, is they don't have substitute teachers. Like when someone is gone, when a teacher is gone, you just don't have that class. And it's like, thank the freaking Lord, because that's so nice. I really dislike having substitute teachers because A, kids just disrespect them, and that's just not very nice. And B, they never get anything done. It just like makes the class like backtrack because the teacher has a teaching style and they have a way of doing things and a timeline and stuff. And when a substitute teacher comes in, it just changes all that up. So it's better just to do it the French way and just not go to school or not go to that class if you don't have that teacher today. Another thing that's kind of different, and I think I like it, is that everyone works really hard. It's kind of a weird thing, but like in school in the United States, there's always kids who just don't care and they just don't try. But everyone here, I don't know if it's what the teachers teach or what it is, but everyone tries super hard, which can be good, but it also can be bad because everyone cares about their grades and everyone cares about it a lot. So that's a bit different than the United States. I mean, also, of course, like there's the simple differences of the schedule. They have a block schedule and we just have like the same classes every day. It's just like a really different world here in France. The lesson for this month, or this video, is learning to be alone. So the middle 2 weeks of this month were kind of rough because I really felt alone. I felt like I didn't have any friends at school and I felt really lonely. And when Thanksgiving came around, which is about being with friends and family and being thankful for having friends and family, I was like, ha, I'm lonely. And I got really, really homesick. And one day I was thinking, like, why am I so upset about this? Like, what is making me so sad to be alone? And what it was the thought that being alone was bad. And then I kept thinking, and I don't know why being alone is bad. We all have this idea that we should always be surrounded by friends and family, and that if you don't have a lot of friends, then you're doing something wrong, but that's not necessarily true. Sometimes the world just wants you to be alone and just to think and to reflect on yourself and just to be with you. And I think that's what I needed these past few weeks, is just to be with me and to focus on what's inside. And so I just kind of learned that, it's not necessarily a bad thing to be alone. for listening to me blabber on yet again. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you're living your best life. You know, what I've really learned this year is just to enjoy life. Don't stress about things too much. Dance through life. Have fun. So I hope you all have fun, and if you're a high schooler and you're watching this video, my word of advice to you is to don't stress too much about it. Enjoy it. Actually, not just high schoolers, anyone watching this video. Don't stress too much about life. Enjoy it. So, that is all for this past month. I will update y'all in 2 weeks. And as the French say, la vie